to my doctor today. I'm feeling a little down today. You know, he thinks it's very rare that I have a reaction to the HCG, which was also, it's urine, which was also in my trigger shot before, but there's also the urine in my regular doses every day. So he's like, you shouldn't have a reaction like that. And I'm like, well, I know, that's why I was telling you, you know, but then like if I switch to the Menopur, that one also stings, and it's a powder that you mix, which is what I did for the last trigger shot. So he's actually calling around to different pharmacies to see if there's a different one that's like a synthetic one or something. So we'll see. I was a little disappointed. It just sounded like I didn't have a lot of follicles. It sounded like there wasn't a lot in there when I did my sonogram today. And they're still growing, but like, and I know it only takes one, but like, it's depressing when you see a lot of other girls who have 46 eggs on their retrieval, or like all these follicles, you know? It just doesn't seem like I have any follicles. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing because that's all I can do. And I'm gonna keep trying. Just keep poking myself and doing everything I can do, because I don't ever want to feel like I never tried. Ow. So, I don't know, today's just a down day, that's all. It's just, and I know I have to keep reminding myself to try not to compare myself to other women, you know, and I gotta be honest, it's a little frustrating when you have, you know, women who've already had babies that are on this, like, I'm on like a support group, on an IVF group, and like, it's great if you've had babies from the IVF and you're like, you got it, like, this was my experience, but there's some girls who've had like 4 babies naturally, and they're like trying to have their 5th one on IVF. I'm like, why are you here? Like, and they're like, I have 46 eggs. I'm like, probably because your body works fine. So like, that doesn't help. Like, there's certain scenarios where some women are like, I don't know, seeking attention or something, and I'm like, I'm not down with that. But anyways, so yeah, a little bit down this morning. And the doctor will call me later with more B results. Oh yeah, so if you watch my first video, you see how terrified I am of these needles. And like, the mantra that's really helped me is that pain is in the past. So like, when I'm overthinking it, it takes me a minute to like actually stab myself. But then if I'm trying not to think about it, I'm just like, boom. And like, it hurts for a second and then it's gone, except for this HCG one, which the pain lasts for like 2 hours. And I get like a rash, and that's the 20 unit low dose HCG. But I've really come a long way, like with the pain threshold and stuff like that. And what was I just saying? That's what I was saying. B results. So I can't even say the word BLOOD. Like, the word freaks me out. So I've had this like mental block my whole life. I must have had some sort of childhood trauma, and like, the only 2 things I can think of from my childhood that freaked me out were the movie The Blob, Little Shop of Horrors, where he's like, feed me Seymour, and he pricks his finger and I'm like, ah, like, so gross. And then when I was little, when we were coming back from Greece, because my dad was in the Air Force, we had to do like tests, like just go to the doctors, and the doctor is like, everything's great. And I'm like, oh, this doctor's nice. And he's like, stick your finger in this, you know, Chinese finger trap. And so I'm like, okay. And I like stick it in there, and it pokes my finger, and he takes my B, and I was like, ah, and it hurts so bad. And like, I just remember, I'm like, I'm never trusting doctors. Anyways. And I just remember, I'm like, I'm never trusting doctors ever again, you know, and like, I was traumatized from that finger poke, and I've never understood why they do the finger prick, because all your nerve endings are there. So like, if you just need the little drop, why can't you just get the drop from my shoulder? Like, I literally to this day don't understand, because if anything I've learned with like subcutaneous injections, like, as long as it's in your fat, it doesn't really matter. You could stab it in your leg, you could stab it in your stomach. They just want like a meatier like section, and it's just gonna go in your B system anyways. So I'm like, okay, so you just need a drop of my B. Who cares where it comes from? I don't want you touching my finger because I use my fingers on everything, you know? Like, I need them, like, you know, they're little tentacles, and like they have all the nerve endings in there. So like, I just don't get that. So anyways, now I'm making myself laugh, so that's good. But like I said, day by day, one step at a time, cross that bridge when you get there. No sense in stressing or worrying. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. So